It's Joel.
The
Would You Rather
podcast.
Bzz. Hello, everybody. I'm Alex,
And I'm Alex.
and this is our podcast,
Joel.
Welcome to episode 141, a nice palindromic, or is it palindromic? Whatever. It's a palindrome number. So we're happy to have you here today. I first wanted to begin the episode by letting everyone know that Nathan does not owe me $1 yet.
Yet. And Alex does not owe me $1 yet.
So let me ask you this. So for the listeners who may not remember, this is something we always remember. We always remember what we say in previous episodes, so
Right.
I'll just remind them.
Yep.
In the last episode, we bet $1. We bet $1 on two unlikely things. Nathan bet $1 that LeBron James would sign with the 76ers this offseason, and I bet $1 that the Phillies would win the World Series.
Yep.
So now my question is, the LeBron thing is going to resolve much sooner than the World Series thing. So is your intention to, if assuming he doesn't sign with the Sixers, is your intention to pay that and then hope to be paid back when the Phillies don't win the World Series? Or is it more like you're going to hang on to that debt until it's canceled out by the debt on the other side?
I'm actually not sure which is the funnier bit. For us to just pay $1 back and forth over the course of a few months, or to desperately hope that the Phillies don't win so that I can no longer owe you $1. It would be a first in podcast history to not actually resolve the bet by paying $1, but by offsetting it with a different debt.
Sure. Yeah, I guess the problem is that leads to 10 consecutive episodes or whatever. Maybe I'm being optimistic with that number, but some number of episodes in a row with me being able to say, you owe me $1.
And that would be troubling.
Yeah. Now, I feel like to your question, which is funnier, I feel like neither of them is actually that funny, per se. If you pay me $1 and then 4 months later I pay you $1, that's what we normally do with making new bets. So, that's, not that funny, but also, not paying me, I feel like is also all not that funny, so it's just an excuse for us to say I owe you $1 or you owe me $1.
Yeah, and honestly, I do think it's more amusing, not necessarily for the listener, but for us to actually, the act of Venmoing you $1 for this bet.
I feel like if we don't pay the $1 and just wait for the next one to cancel it out, that kind of eliminates the whole, it's not a bet anymore. It's just a thing we're right about or not. And because we're probably 50-50 roughly over time, it's it would just cancel out and it would be not bets. So it's nice that we actually pay the other person.
I would love to know the actual, balance of bets this far into the podcast.
Yeah. If you're a really avid listener, actually, when we went back to listen, we should have started tracking this. If you're a really avid listener, go back and track all the bets we've made since the beginning of the podcast and let us know who's ahead.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to the sports minutes. Anything you wanted to talk about in the sports minutes?
I will congratulate Felix Rosenqvist on his recent Indianapolis 500 win that I was in attendance for. He's sponsored by Morgan Wallen, which I found to be weird. Are you familiar with Morgan Wallen?
No.
He's just a guy. I mean,
That's what I thought based on what you just said, but I didn't I don't know who he is.
So to be clear, he's a musician. He's okay. I don't know, fairly successful. Recent. I think he might be a country musician or something like that. I don't really know him or any of his music, but I saw most of the drivers will be sponsored by some tangentially automotive or racing kind of company, or another racing person. Former drivers will start their own company, race company, and then sponsor their own team of cars or whatever. But yeah, Morgan Wallen was this guy's sponsor, on his pit and everything. It was written there. So
nice.
Good for them.
Congratulations.
I don't know if you know this, but the winner of the Indy 500 famously drinks milk as
I do
their
know, I have heard of that. I
yeah.
couldn't have told you before you said that,
Uh-huh.
that was the Indy 500. I just knew
Yeah.
it was some racing thing, but I did know about that.
So we got to watch this guy in full championship celebration mode get a large jug of milk, take a drink, dump it on his head while he's standing in the seat of his car, by the way. So, like, somebody's going to have to clean this race car,
Uh-huh.
all
Yep.
the milk out of it. Um, but yeah, congrats to him and his team.
Nice. The piece of sports that I wanted to talk about today is Phillies pitcher Christopher Sanchez.
Ooh,
Have you heard about this?
the one and only. I have not. Go for it.
Okay, so in baseball, one of the most famous records is the longest hitting streak, which is the number of games in a row getting a hit, famously held by Joe DiMaggio with 56 games. And no one has ever come really close to that. Like, the second place is like 44 or something like that.
Sure.
And it's very rare for anyone to even get in like the 30s. Like 56 is like ridiculous. The pitcher version of that record, which is a lot less famous, is consecutive scoreless innings.
Okay.
And the Phillies have a pitcher named Christopher Sanchez who, in his most recent start, he set the franchise, meaning Phillies, record for this stat, most consecutive scoreless innings, with 44 and 2/3 scoreless, like 44 and 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings. He essentially gave up. He essentially gave up a run, or gave up like 2 runs in the first inning of a game on April 30th, and today's June 1st, and he has not given up a run since then.
Wow.
So, and that record had stood previously for over 100 years, the Phillies record.
Whoa.
So
It's kind of
pretty
crazy.
impressive. He's the major league record is, I believe, 58 or 59 consecutive scoreless innings.
Yeah.
Meaning he's 14. I don't remember the exact number. I know that he's 14 and 1/3 inning away from passing the record,
Sure.
I think, or no, tying the record, something like that. But like, so anyway, that's the kind of most interesting and exciting thing right now. I feel like it's like this guy's in the middle of this really long scoreless streak, which is really impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, he went a whole month without giving up a run. Like that's unheard of for a pitcher.
So
So
has he pitched a complete game during this streak at all? Because that's another significant baseball thing,
He did
right?
pitch one complete game shutout during
Yeah.
the streak. Yeah.
So wow, congrats to him for an equally. How much milk is he gonna have upon, like, right on the mound the second he?
I would guess none.
Yeah.
Like, that's not really a tradition in baseball.
Interesting.
So
If you've got any way to, like, get word to him that he should start this tradition, which, I think he'd be right to do as the new record owner, right? You can just decide upon a new tradition. That's what happens when you set a record.
yeah, I'll let him know if I ever run into him.
Sure.
But kind of one of the negative things is his next start is at home, but the next 2 starts after that are on the road, and those 2 starts are where he'd be most likely to set the record if he gets it. So it's like he'd be celebrating in front of a bunch of fans who are mad at him for like, pitching well against their team.
I feel like maybe this isn't true. Maybe this is only the kind of, like, I don't know, outsider sports things that I've heard about. But I have this sense that baseball is pretty, like, respectful about that kind of thing too. Of like, yeah, like, congrats on, you're doing it against us. That's a shame, but like, for the sake of the sport, you have advanced our.
Right.
I
feel like it depends on what the record is.
Sure.
Like, if you were setting like the hitting streak record as an example.
Yeah.
Like, if a guy gets a hit against my team and he like breaks the 56 game record, that's worthy of applause, right? Like,
Right.
crazy record. and it's like a hit. Like it's who cares
That's
about it? It's like
so
a hit.
minor in
But if
the
a
grand scheme.
yeah,
Sure.
if a guy comes in and for an entire game makes my team look bad and essentially wins the game for his team and then sets some like scoreless inning streak record, I don't know that I'd be happy about that. Like that's much worse for my experience at the game. So
I guess
like,
that's true. You'd
like,
have ruined your entire day by constantly pitching well.
Like an analogy is like if a guy threw like a perfect game against your team.
Yeah.
And that, like, I don't, like, maybe there's some people who would applaud that. I personally would not applaud an opposing pitcher who threw a perfect, like, perfect games are very rare. It's a really impressive feat.
Right.
But really, I'm just depressed that my team couldn't do literally 27 outs in a row, couldn't do a single thing against this pitcher.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
Cool. I think that's good for the sports minutes. Anything else?
No, there are no other sports.
All right, let's go to the next logical spot in our podcast, which is, did we receive any emails this week?
You know, we did receive an email this week, and I am glad that you said earlier that we remember everything that we've said previously on the podcast, because this is actually a response to a previous email
in which we responded to that email by saying we didn't know anything about what we said previously on the podcast, right?
So I don't know what episode we read this email in, but the email was from a prior episode, so we almost certainly did say something like that. And this is
I have a memory of saying that we didn't know what it was about, even though I don't remember what we were saying that about.
Right. So we've now received a clarification about that surely we're going to understand.
Surely we are going to know exactly what this is talking about.
Right. So this email comes to us from Cephalopodmaster. The subject line is "I am a dumbass." Although in this case, that's just because he replied to the previous email. So points for it, I guess. But that's how it is. He says, "Hello, Alex and Alex at Joel the Podcast. Here's a follow-up for clarification. My stream of consciousness was drifting mid-sentence, and I didn't actually finish the sentence. In the first part, I meant to say that I was disappointed that you did not also mention the fish-based election system in the episode while proposing your new political system." So I suppose...
Can you please read the previous email?
The previous email says, "This email is related to episode 136, a mere 5 episodes ago." We remember it like it was yesterday. "I liked the Joel, the political system you proposed as an answer. However, I am disappointed that the fish-based election system also from the past episode, period." So this is what he's talking about, and then there's more to the email.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's the appropriate context.
Right.
So at the beginning of the episode, we were answering a question that he asked about alternate election systems, I think, if my memory's serving me, and we came up with this fish-based... maybe he mentioned fish, I don't remember, but we came up with the details of the election system.
Yes.
Does that sound right?
So we came up with the details of an election system, and I think possibly separately we talked about fish.
No. Because there was something about, you catch the fish, and, the fish... Oh, the fish picks a person or something like that?
Oh, and then you can release the fish and you, or no, you don't release the fish because the question was how do you keep votes from double counting, so you just kill the fish immediately.
Right.
And
so we said something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was in response to a question that he asked. I don't remember whether we came up with the fish part of it or that was part of the question.
And then I think later we were talking...
Go ahead.
Later we were talking about what would our political system be like, separate from the election system.
See,
and we didn't call back to the fish, or no?
I just think this is really funny and probably really bad to listen to if you know what we said.
Well,
okay, here's the full story of my memory. The whole fish bait. He asked a question.
Yeah.
We came up with this election system. I don't think the episode was related to that. I don't remember for sure.
Right.
But I think we went through the rest of the episodes like a normal episode.
Sure.
And now it sounds like he's saying he wanted us to mention the fish-based election system in the episode at some point. Does that seem like what he's saying?
I think you see. I was disappointed you did not also mention the fish-based election system in the episode while proposing your new political system. However, I am
So it sounds like
disappointed.
we were proposing a political system in the episode.
I don't know if this was the same episode or not, but at some point in like the mid 130s episodes, we talked about an election system about fish and a new political system. And the point of this email is that we should have talked about the fish during the.
Okay.
So
I don't remember the second part.
yeah.
So that's where my confusion comes from.
You know what would be a really good episode is if we speculated wildly about the previous episode, the one we just recorded. And we just did that over and over until it was completely unrecognizable.
What would be interesting, like now we have like this catalog of what in like top level each episode was.
Yeah.
But if we just like said like, okay, what do you remember about episode 127 podcastception? And it's just like we don't remember anything, so we're just like making stuff up. Like I feel like in the episode we
was podcastception the one where we ranked podcast ideas?
Yes, good memory. I would not have come up with that.
Well, I didn't remember it. I
idea
just
tier list.
I knew we did that, and then the title was slightly relevant in this case. So.
Yes. So, yeah. Anyway, that's not a fun idea. That's a Joel joke.
That is a Joel. So rather than do that this episode, which is what we had planned, now that we've talked through it and realized that that's not a great idea. Why don't you let us know what we're going to do instead?
Before I do that, that's the end of the email, right?
That is the end of the email, yeah.
So if somebody else wanted to send us an email, how would they do that?
Oh, I can't believe we almost blew right by that. But that's a crucial piece of information that our listeners need to know. So if you out there are listening right now and you want to send us an email about your thoughts or our thoughts or pretty much almost anything else, you can go to our website, which is alexandalex@joelthepodcast.github.io/alexandalex@joelthepodcast.website/index.html. And once you're there, just click on a few links until you get your email pop up and type in there and click send.
Very good. So, since we're not going to be wildly speculating on what we did in previous episodes, we're instead going to do another episode of Would You Rather today. So we're gonna be going through some Would You Rather questions and arguing about them and saying what we think. And feel free to send us an email about your thoughts on them, which I'm sure I'll say that at the end again. But
yep.
All right, since we already started this before the episode started, why don't you read that question that you read that we started talking about?
Yeah, I'm gonna kick us off with one that we I read it kind of as a joke, and then we started discussing it seriously.
I started talking about it, and he was like, "Okay, save it for the episode."
No. All right, here you go. Would you rather have $500,000 right now, or $1,000 every time you run 1 mile in less than 12 minutes for the rest of your life?
Right. So I guess now that I think about it, so initially, all right. So let me context.
Yeah.
I said definitely the 500,000.
Yeah.
And the first question that I asked you was, which you didn't end up answering because you wanted to save it for the podcast, was how long do you think it would take you to run? Like how many days before you ran 500 miles and 512 or less minute miles and made up this like kind of like the whole idea behind this is you have more potential to make money with the 1,000 per run thing, 1,000 per mile thing, but the 500,000, A, it's up front, and B, it doesn't require any effort.
Yeah.
So how long do you think it would take to make back that initial investment?
I think I could probably do it in about a year. And that's because all I would have to do to like live comfortably is run a mile every day. And I'm pretty sure, I don't want to, hype myself up too much, but I think if I just went outside right now and ran a mile, it would be less than 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I could do a mile daily, and then on some days, if I felt like I was up for a second mile, or like I had taken a break previously and wanted to do a 2 mile run to make up for that. So like a year is maybe a little optimistic given that I'm saying one a day, but I just think that
Mm-hmm.
I could make up the extras if with the motivation of $1,000, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So that's a very interesting answer.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is number one, I feel like if you're going to take the 1,000,
Yeah.
you really want to min max the miles. Like, you really want to quit your job and just become a full time runner, basically.
That's a good point.
Um,
Like I probably could train to run like 5 miles a day if I wanted to, or 10 miles a day.
I mean, I feel like people who are actual runners who run like marathons and things like that
Yeah.
can daily run like 10 miles
Yeah.
or more.
Yeah.
They probably could run more, but like 10 miles is like a baseline. You could run 10 miles a day.
Hmm.
Now, obviously, you wouldn't, and honestly, that's 10 miles. Like, you wake up in the morning, go for your morning run, which is 10 miles,
Yeah.
and then you go on with your day. Like, if your only job was to run, you could probably run 10 miles in the morning, take a break, have lunch, go the rest of your day, run 10 miles in the evening.
Yeah.
Like, so that you, um, so I feel like if you totally min max this, it's clearly, and now you wouldn't be able to do that right away. Obviously, you'd have to build up to that.
Right.
But
Right.
like, let's say in like 6 to 8 months, if you're doing nothing but running, basically, you'll get to that point.
Uh-huh.
And in that case, it's clearly monetarily way in your benefit to take the 1,000 per mile.
Yeah.
Um, Now, my response to that is I don't want to spend my life running. Like, that sounds horrible.
Sure.
So, like, that's one of the reasons why I want to take the 500.
Because that's just
Upfront.
upfront credit for
Yes.
500 miles, and you didn't have to run at all. You just have.
Right. Yes. Now, this is why what you said is so interesting.
Yeah.
Because running 1 mile per day, that's doable. Like, even I could do that. I'm not a runner.
Right.
And would it be fun? No. But, like, to earn 1,000, like, to run a mile for $1,000,
Yeah.
100% I would do that every day.
Yeah.
And if you do that every day, then in 2 years, you've made back the 500,000 that you would have gotten if you had just taken that.
Mhm.
So that kind of makes it obvious. Like, not now, yeah, you've clearly changed my mind. That's clearly much better. Not only because you'll make much more money over time,
Yeah.
and eventually you'll be able to quit your job and just run 1 mile per day anyway. Like, you don't have to min max it because you'll like. Because, like, my initial thought was... Sorry, now I'm rambling at this point. My initial thought was to invest the 500,000. So if
Of
I
course.
invest
Yeah,
the
yeah.
500,000 and it takes you a year to run 500 miles,
Yeah.
I've already made another who knows how many thousand, like, $10,000 or more that you then have to run more miles to catch up with.
Right.
But clearly monetarily, it's better to run. You don't have to run like a crazy amount. Plus, now I'm being motivated to stay in shape, which is also good for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And even if you didn't want to like maximize monetarily the amount you could get for running, like I don't make $1,000 per day. I could
Yes.
run once or twice a week and continue living my lifestyle.
And that's what you made me realize.
Yeah.
Exactly is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, that's clearly much better.
Great. I think we ended up in agreement there. Hit
Yep.
us with the next one.
All right. So, as context, I asked AI, can you give me some quirky would you rather questions? So that's the context for these questions.
Great.
Generated by Google Gemini. So we'll start with one of the more tamer ones. Would you rather have all your shirts permanently smell faintly of freshly cooked pepperoni, pizza, or have all your pants permanently smell like freshly mown grass?
I think actually both of these things are like neutral to good.
Right. Well, they're both good.
Yeah.
I think they're, well,
I think there are
That's a good point.
situations where if you kind of like faintly smelled like pepperoni or grass, it would be unusual, but like it wouldn't really ever be completely inappropriate, right?
Right. Yes. So there's really no huge downside to these. I would say the biggest downside is, especially for the pepperoni, like that's gonna make me okay. One of two things,
Yeah.
and maybe both depending upon the time. One is gonna be either it's gonna make me hungry,
Yes.
right, which is kind of annoying, or it's gonna like I'm gonna get tired of the smell of pepperoni. And I'm gonna be like, I hate this. Like this is active. I'm disliking that I'm smelling this right now.
Yeah.
Now it's not a strong smell, so it's not like this is like torture or anything like that. But it might get annoying.
Right.
I feel like the grass is less likely to get into that territory of like being like I start disliking the smell.
And your
So
pants
right
are
now
also
I'm kind of leaning.
your pants are also farther from your nose. So
That's
it's
true.
easier to ignore.
Now, this might just be the wording of the question, but the pepperoni smell is faint,
Yeah.
but the grass smell is just there's no qualifier on it.
Oh,
So
there
maybe
wasn't.
the grass smell is stronger than the
To
pepperoni.
compensate for the nose distance. Gotcha.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean it feels only fair, but then again, why wouldn't you just say, do you want your shirt to smell like grass or do you want your shirt to smell like pepperoni? Like I feel like there needs to be some intrigue to this. But then again, it was just AI generated, so there was no like reasoning put
Right.
into it, right? It's just
Correct.
so. Here I go anthropomorphizing Gemini. However, that
So-
being said,
Now I've said that I'm leaning more grass.
yeah,
But you, as like, I'm curious, as a pizza lover, especially,
right.
does that make you lean more pepperoni pizza?
I think the one thing that I worry about with pepperoni is it being a food smell. Like it's a good food smell, but I'm just not sure that I want to smell any kind of food all the time, even a food
Right.
That's not true. I would smell good food all the time. That seems fine. So maybe I'm okay with this. Maybe I'd be okay with
So-
pepperoni smell.
Do you feel like the fact that it's going to make you hungry a lot of the time is like not a problem?
I don't really think that's a problem because
Okay.
I don't know. I just don't. I don't feel like I get more hungry just by. No, I do. I do.
Yeah. Like I literally think that I would become fat if I was smelling pepperoni pizza all the time.
Yeah, you'd be craving pepperoni pizza. I think there's another angle that's maybe driving me more than this is why I'm kind of going back and forth is if you smell a little bit like pepperoni all the time, that kind of has the implication that like, oh, you dropped pepperoni on your shirt or something, you're kind of a
Right.
slob. Versus if you
Right.
smell like cut grass, you were
Yeah.
out working cutting the grass, which is kind of a positive sentiment,
Yeah.
even if it is a little bit like maybe unclean, I guess. Like you didn't wash up
And it's
before.
very interesting. Like I'm thinking like if my office mate is just constantly smelling me smell like grass.
Yeah.
Like what is he thinking? Like he knows that I'm not cutting the grass all the time in the office with him. Like I'm not like a landscaper,
Yeah.
clearly. Especially in like the winter when nobody's cutting their grass.
That might be kind of nice because it's gone kind of unsaid, but I think cut grass is a nice smell, right?
I think they're both cut grass is a nice smell.
You get a nice, outdoor naturey smell in the winter versus, I don't know, pepperoni's just pepperoni year round.
Yeah, I'm going. I think I'm on grass. Are you also on grass?
I
Weird way to phrase that. I think I'm choosing having my pants smell like grass.
Yes, I would enjoy my pants smelling like grass more than I would my shirt pepperoni. So
Nice.
another agreement.
All right. You got another one over there?
All right, I do. So, would you rather be able to tell your past self one thing or be able to ask your future self one question?
So it's tell my past self one thing or be able to ask my future self one question?
Correct.
Okay. So the first thing I'm thinking about is, do I want to use this to like make a lot of money?
That's a great angle. Yeah.
Um, if I want to use it to make a lot of money, probably the better option is to ask your future self a question.
Yeah.
The question being, what investment in the next 10 years should I make that will make me the most money, or something along those lines?
Yeah.
Um, the reason it's better to do that than to tell your past self, at least for us now, is because we have a lot more money now than we
Yes.
had in our past. So like telling myself, 20 years ago that I should invest in Netflix isn't that helpful. um,
But I mean, surely you can look up some stock that went up, 200x or something in that time, and could you scrounge together a couple $100 as a 10-year-old from mowing the grass or something, making your pants smell all
but even
grassy?
that's only like $20,000. Like if I knew now something that's going to go up 100x,
Yeah,
like I could put like a lot more money into that, right? Like I could be a
sure,
millionaire.
sure.
So that's clearly still better.
You're right.
Now, go ahead.
I was the only benefit is if you think $20,000 now is better than $1 million in 10 years, and I just don't. That can't possibly be true.
No,
What's the?
unless you have some investment that can make you like 200% per year, or like 500% per year, which there's no investment that can do that, obviously.
Yeah. Well, it looks like your best bets in the past 20 years are like Nvidia, Netflix, Apple, which only get you about 300x. Yeah, that's not that
Yeah.
great. I thought there might be something
Well,
better out there. I mean,
well, so what you have to remember, so like, because so I think I told you this. I don't remember if I mentioned this on the podcast.
Yeah.
But my dad invested in Netflix like
Oh.
20 years ago.
Wow.
But he sold his stock before
Sure.
Netflix blew up.
Of course. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So like, because the story he tells is that he bought he had Netflix back when it was a DVD mailing service. Like
Right.
he had the service. He
Right.
thought it was good, so he bought the stock. And then Walmart announced that they were coming out with a competing service. And so he sold his stock thinking it would like take over
Walmart's
Netflix
gonna,
or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Walmart's either I think they did come out with it, but it just didn't didn't catch on.
Sure.
But we looked it up. And like not only did the stock go up a lot in that time, but the stock has had like multiple splits in that time.
Right.
Which, if you're familiar with stock splits, means not only his number of shares would have gone up by like 6 to 12 times.
Mm-hmm.
So like that also affects how much money you would make during that time, not just like the stock price going up. Anyway, this is neither here nor there. It's just an interesting thing to think about. Clearly, still you want to ask a question to your future self. Now, what I want to say is there some other use of this question or tell that's better than making money?
Yeah. I think if there is something better than making money, it's still probably a question to my future self. Like, do you wish you had changed anything or done anything differently? Like, something that I could take action on now versus I don't feel like my life is in a place right now where I would have wanted to say to my past self, hey, do that. Like, the one thing maybe would be to tell my 2019 or 2020 self, like, hey, try a lot harder to buy a house. because that's about to get, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't,
But even that's just a monetary thing,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. I don't even know if I could have done it too, because
Right.
that just takes
You
time.
had a
And
bunch of debt. Yeah.
yeah, I was, 1 year into my, you know, only full-time job. So basically, yeah, every money thing is ask the future. Every life change thing is ask the future because I'm fine with what's going on now.
Hmm.
So I almost don't need to think too much more about what exactly I would ask. I would just say it must be asking the future. What do you think?
I think you're right, but I think that's more just hinging on the fact that not it's not an inherent it's not inherent to the asking your future self being better.
Yeah.
It's because we have lives that we're happy with right now.
Turns
So it's
out
like
things are going fine.
there's nothing I need to tell my past self that I have a better life right now.
Yeah, yeah.
The only thing that I'm worried about is that I want to continue to have a good life going into the future.
Maybe I would have told my past self to buy better audio equipment sooner so that as I'm listening to the podcast now, it doesn't take like
I
a
would
100 episodes before it becomes.
I would tell my past self that when David emailed me asking for my address, or I think he texted me or whatever, that I should give him my address
just don't ask questions.
instead of like, yeah, exactly.
Wow. Maybe it's not too late. Maybe he's out there listening to this, willing to give you another chance.
Well, that would be very kind, David. But then I would pose this question.
Yeah.
Do you feel like Nathan's audio right now is significantly better than mine?
Mm-hmm.
Which when I listen, I feel like it's not,
Yeah.
right? So like in that sense, I probably don't really need the microphone other than to look really pretentious.
But there's value in that. We could go to a video form podcast if we had the pretentious look.
Yeah,
to
the
it.
fact that I don't have like a microphone in front of me in my video is why Hey, it's Shelby. Hi, Shelby.
She's outside. She's out the window.
Yeah.
For the listeners who can't see.
Yeah, she can't
anything.
actually. Yeah, she can't see or hear us, but she's watering plants.
Yep.
On the world's best balcony.
Yeah,
if anyone went to the world's best balcony at exactly the time we're recording this, they would see Shelby. Wow, is this still light out for you? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, the sun is setting as we speak. It's probably not going to be
nearly
light
10
for much
p.m.
longer.
here, so it's just very weird that that's the case.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like I'm used to light late in the evenings because I used to live on the west side of the time zone. Now I live on the east side of the time zone, and we still sometimes get this. But then in the winter, it's like sunsets at 4 p.m. So that kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Cool. All right, so I think we're agreement on, asking your future self. That's what we were talking about, that question, right?
Yeah, ask your future self or tell your past self.
Yeah, so I can't think of what I would ask my future self besides to make money. Like, I know that's not part of the question, but
yeah, that feels like
think of
enough, though. I don't need to know. I don't feel like I need to change the course of life other than having more money would make any situation easier. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into another one of mine.
Yeah.
So this is actually the 9th one on the list of 9 that it generated, but I really wanted to ask it because I think it's a funny question. I don't know how interesting it'll be to discuss, but we'll see. Would you rather everyone you meet automatically know your least favorite song, or have everyone think you are a professional curling champion and expect you to prove it?
Expect you to prove it. Wow.
And by the way, the expect you to prove it is in parentheses. So obviously that is a key part of this question.
Yeah, otherwise that'd be awesome.
Well, why would it be awesome?
To have people think you're a curling champion?
Yeah, but why would that be good?
I mean, I think people thinking that I was world class in anything, it doesn't matter what, would be cool and interesting.
Well, okay, so you're not famous.
Yeah. It's just the people around me think that I am.
Right. So it's not so like
Hmm. So
like
maybe
to
that's
me
less
like
good.
the benefits of being world class. I guess maybe you could use that. You could leverage that. Like, oh, I'm gonna get
Sure.
a sponsorship for my curling, or like I don't know. But just having people think that I'm a world class curler by itself doesn't feel that good.
Yeah.
Because like the great part about doing that would be the achievement, right? In real life, if you became a world class curler, it'd be like, wow, I am literally like one of the best in the world at this thing I do.
Yeah.
Um, but if you just people just think that about you, but it's not true, yeah, there might be some use for that, but it definitely seems a lot less good. Now let's talk about the expect you to prove it part. Um, because to me, like you could interpret that as like everyone you meet is expecting to see you curl,
Yeah.
which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Like to me, I interpret it more as like people know you and expect to see you curl sometimes.
Right. Right.
Um,
There's
does
always
that
there's always some
seem like a reasonable interpretation?
like hey, show it must be on video somewhere or something. We should look up your curling matches or like,
You're
hey,
like,
we
when's
should
your next curling
yeah,
match?
we should go to the rink sometime so you could show us some pointers or something.
Yeah.
And
So, go ahead.
that feels like a kind of overall just an uncomfortable inconvenience because any benefits that you could get from people thinking you're a curler are going to be canceled out by you not actually being able to like demonstrate your curling ability. So like you couldn't get sponsorships because you would never actually back that up with anything, and so they would just pull the sponsorship even if they thought you had previously done it.
So let me ask you this. Clearly, the way you're interpreting this is everyone, like, starting when you accept the would you rather,
Yeah.
everyone thinks that you're a curling champion, but then once they see you curl, they know that you're not. Another interpretation, though, is just that magically everyone thinks you are a professional curling champion,
Yeah.
meaning no matter what you do, you can't disabuse them of that notion.
Does that
Um,
include entering curling competitions and not winning them, but everyone thinks you've won? Because
no,
then
they
you could
don't
just
think you've
become a curling
won.
champion.
No, they don't think you've won. They see that you're doing badly now, and that's disappointing,
Sure.
but that doesn't make them think that you were lying about being a curling champion or that you weren't a curling champion at one time.
Sure.
It just makes them think that you've suddenly got terrible at curling.
Yeah. I mean, well, in that case, I could just say like, oh, yeah, I was a great curler in the past, but then I, had a curling accident, and I
A
just
curling accident.
yeah, like I couldn't let go of the rock, and it just pulled me the length of the ice, and I just lay there in the target, and all the other rocks came and hit me, and I've just been,
It's
tragically
curling law that
traumatized.
the other curlers had to still throw the rocks while I was there. They couldn't
Yeah, the
not
guys on
throw
my
them.
team were still brushing as they were crying, and the rocks came and hit me, and
Um,
no, I
See, I
just
feel like there's almost even in that now that I've like said it, like I
yeah,
just kind of wanted to explore that possibility. But there's still pretty much no benefit to everyone thinking that you used to be really. In fact, it's probably worse for everyone to still think that you were a curling champion at one time, but are now bad.
and that, yeah, yeah,
Like, um, okay, now we've at length discussed that one. Let's discuss everyone you meet automatically knows your least favorite song.
yeah,
And I assume this to mean they know what your least favorite song is. Is that how you were interpreting it?
yeah.
All right, so then let's start with this question. Do you know what your least favorite song is?
I would not say that I have a least favorite song. No, if I thought about it for a while, and I think I might try, I might be able to come up with one. But
Mm-hmm.
then I don't know that I could definitively say it's my least favorite. I mean, for that matter, I don't think I could definitively say that any song is my most favorite either.
Okay, so let's imagine that you did have a least favorite song.
Yeah,
It was a song that was unpleasant for you to hear.
right.
and every person you know knows what it is.
Right.
Is that negative in any way?
I mean, some of them are sometimes going to use it to mess with me, for sure. Like, we'll be driving in the car and they'll be like, "Hey, can I put on some music?" And I'll say sure, and they'll just like play that song, and I'll be like, "Ugh, this sucks. This stupid song. Hate this song." But like, I feel like that's as bad as it gets.
Yeah, I agree that's probably the worst it reasonably gets. Okay. I think, yeah, I mean, the only other negative thing I could think that could happen about that is if your least favorite song was like something popular.
Yeah.
So that like people were like judged you for that being your least favorite song. But really I feel like more than likely my least favorite song would just be something really annoying.
Hmm.
Like, you know, I can't think of a good example, but there's plenty of annoying songs out there.
Yeah.
Um, so that probably wouldn't apply. Okay, so then do we feel like the curling one is positive?
I feel like the curling one is positive, even if you can't curl and people see you can't curl and think you've gone through some like massive decline. I still think people will have a generally, depending on how you frame it, if you're willing to lie and say that you went through some kind of like significant, like there was an event that caused you to be bad at curling rather than you just got
Mm-hmm.
bad. I think people would still be impressed at you for having been good once.
So
So
the benefit to you is people being impressed by your supposed curling, former curling abilities.
yeah, your former achievements would be mildly impressive. However, you can't back them up now, so it's not like it's going to
Right.
materially change anything.
I feel like like from my perspective, I feel like that's actually a negative. Like that, like people will be disappointed in me
Yeah,
that I'm not good at curling anymore.
yeah,
Um, and like I feel like everyone knew that you meet. They would think that you are a professional champion and not know that you're bad at it any now. So
yeah.
like every new person that you meet, you're like disappointing them
Yeah,
that
it'd be a
that you're
constant
like
thing.
bad at curling.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
kind of feel like, from my opinion, as I go with the song, just because it's not as bad, I
sure.
feel like these are both negative things.
So since I've said that there's good about the curling, I do want to mention I think there is a very slight one-time benefit to the song, which is that presumably whatever, you know, objective source of truth is determining my least favorite song becomes known to me. I can just ask somebody about it. And that would be it'd be a neat little thing to learn about myself.
Hmm.
Even if it
That yeah. Hmm.
even if I heard it and I was like, "Oh yeah, that sucks." And then I didn't.
I feel like that's not a consideration for me, but also I already chose that as my answer, so it doesn't really change it even if I did consider it.
Yeah. I'm gonna break the trend and go curling, even though I do think you're probably right that it might turn out to be more negative than positive. Just the scenarios where you could get away with it might be good
Right.
enough.
You're saying that seems like there could be some upside, whereas the song there's essentially no possible upside.
But yeah, basically no realistic positive thing about that.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear the next one. Your next one.
Okay. I think we may have talked about this on the podcast before, or at least this isn't the first time I've seen this. But I was scrolling by and I just wanted to read it again because it's fun. Would you rather be controlled by a mantis shrimp for a day and be forced to watch him make stupid
Yes.
shrimp decisions,
Yes.
or be the most wanted pirate on all the seven seas for a month in the 1700s? This
So
might
we
actually
did
be from
talk
one of
about
our
this one.
original Would You Rather episodes.
We did talk about this one before.
Yeah.
Do you want to like rehash it all now, or like
Let's just quickly, like, I'm curious if our answers now match our answers then, if anybody
right?
cares to.
So it depends upon. I think the bottom line is it depends upon. Uh, it depends on what it means for the shrimp to make all your decisions to control you.
Yeah.
Like, if the shrimp inherently knows how to control a human body,
Yeah.
and like like, okay, I actually feel like there's three levels of options. So option number one is you have like a functioning subconscious that can like get up, get dressed, shower,
Yeah.
and the shrimp is presented with like, here are two options. You can either, eat this for breakfast or eat this for breakfast or talk
Right.
to this person. Like it's presented with discrete options
Right.
and essentially randomly chooses between them.
Yeah, it'll be able
Option
to
number
like execute on tasks,
right.
but
So that
decides
is
on its
clearly
own.
that is clearly the worst option. Like if
Definitely.
that's clearly the worst one.
Yeah.
The second option is the shrimp inherently knows how to control your body, but it just has a shrimp mind.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna like want to eat and I don't know reproduce or whatever.
Swim.
But it's not gonna know. Yeah, it's not gonna know how to do. It's gonna know how to move your body to do those like things, but that's about it. So like it's not gonna know how to like open a cereal box or whatever. And so that's option number two. Option number three is it's just a shrimp that doesn't know how to control a human body. So you essentially just do nothing all day.
Right.
Now, as I was saying those three, I actually think all three of those might be preferable to the pirate one. Because the
Interesting.
pirate one is for a month.
Yeah.
So for a month, you are a pirate. It's dangerous. Like, I assume if you die as a pirate, you're just dead. Like,
Yeah.
I don't...
Otherwise, there's not really a downside because you could just go like
Oh.
do whatever as a pirate for a month and then come back.
There's still
and...
many downsides. For example, you could be thrown in jail for a lot for your month, which would suck. Also, like life as a pirate probably isn't that pleasant. Like no electricity, no plumbing. You're just on a ship all the time. Like that doesn't sound that enjoyable. So like
Fair.
even the base positive like case of the pirate part doesn't. Plus, like this is like a weird thing to bring into it, but like as a moral person, I wouldn't really be okay with taking the actions that would be expected of the most feared pirate on the seas, including robbing and killing people.
Right.
So like I just feel like there's no even remotely good scenario as the pirate, and it's a whole month long. So
Kind of-
I think I definitely would choose the shrimp.
Yeah, the best case pirate is still worse than the worst case shrimp just because like there's
only-
no
yeah.
upside to the pirate really, and the shrimp downside just isn't that bad. Is what
The
you're saying.
only argument I feel like you could make for the pirate is that the worst case shrimp could have long-term negative impact on your life.
Right.
The shrimp does something that screws up your life.
Yeah.
Whereas the pirate thing, if we say that like you'll survive the month, or you make you do something so that you're careful to survive the month, just presumably you just go back to your life after the month. So like as long as you survive, there's like no possible negative long-term effects on your life. I guess maybe like you could be traumatized or something like that. But theoretically your life can't be screwed up by that one.
Right. I think a month is probably too long for you to get away with somehow just being able to sail around with no like events happening, no piracy
Well, like
or
if
being
all
chased.
if all I cared about was being like staying alive for the month,
Yeah.
like probably I would just go to my first mate and be like, I'm resigning, you're the captain now. I don't know, throw me in the brig if you want, like whatever. Like
Yeah.
I don't 100% know that they wouldn't just kill me, but I feel like that could work.
I think you could get out of being like in command of the ship with basically no consequences. But I think anyone you gave command of the ship to would then continue to do piracy and potentially expect you to get more involved than you would if you
Sure.
were in control, kind of trying to avoid that, presumably
interesting
without
point.
appearing like you're trying to avoid it for the
That's an
sake of the
interesting
rest of
point.
the crew.
I wonder
So-
if you could just like land the pirate, like order them to go to a port or something like that, and then just like run away.
What do you mean run away? Like in your ship or like physically get off
No,
the
you
ship
go to
and
the
everybody
port, you get
runs
off the
away?
ship, and you just like go into the city and like never return to the pirate ship.
Yeah. I mean, in the 1700s, there's maybe a case to be made that you find a quiet port and you can get there without being caught right away,
Yeah.
and then
I mean, I don't know. I don't actually know how easy it was for pirates to go to land. Like,
yeah.
if they went, like, were they known enough that if they went to a city, like, they would be arrested, so they couldn't do that? Or could they kind of go wherever as long as they were low key about it? I don't know.
I mean, based on the Pirates of the Caribbean documentaries I've seen, you could go to port in like pirate friendly areas, right? So like you wouldn't dock in England because they'd arrest you, but then if you docked in,
Yeah, I
Barbados or
just,
something, they don't care that you're
I'm
a
not,
pirate. You just have
I'm
money.
not saying that's not realistic. I'm just saying I have no idea how realistic that is.
I mean, without having done real research into pirates, if they had to just be on the ship hoarding gold or whatever, and that was the only thing they could ever do, then piracy doesn't really make much sense. There must have
Well,
been
that's a good
some way
point.
for them
Yeah, that's
to
a good point.
exercise their gains.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
Yeah. So
Um,
now that may be a pretty unsavory place, since you had previously mentioned not really wanting to do the things affiliated with piracy or like keep up the reputation that people might assume of you. So that all
all right, so
being
I think we're in
said,
agreement though with the shrimp though, right?
you probably still just go shrimp just to avoid all
Yeah,
this complication.
yeah. Okay. Um, so this is an interesting one because both options are just so odd that it's
Okay.
not immediately obvious which one is better to me.
Great. Perfect.
Um, uh, Option number: would you rather be able to instantly summon any $10 board game at will, or be able to perfectly cook any piece of poultry just by staring at it intensely?
Wow. That second one is actually pretty amazing. I
Really? Because
I
I feel
think
like my initial reaction is that the first one is just way better, just like on spec.
sure. Okay, let's talk it through then.
Yeah, they clearly both require a lot of assumptions.
The first option, being able to instantly summon any $10 game, surely there are lots and lots of $10 games that I would like. And
Right.
if I knew this power existed, I would start using it to figure out which ones those are. And then in, social situations or whatever, that would be ridiculously useful to just like have a collection of games effortlessly accessible to me, right?
So let me ask you this: what does it mean to summon a $10 board game? Is it like a game that costs exactly $10? Is it a game that costs roughly $10? Is it a game that costs $10 to manufacture? Like $10 or less? Like what does that mean?
My read for whatever reason was $10 or less, but that actually feels like it makes the least sense of any of the options that you just said
Mm-hmm.
because it didn't say anything about or less. So why would a $5 board game be a $10 board game?
Right.
So now you've got me wondering how many board games are actually $10. And I feel like
Well,
it's a
not
little bit unfair to say exactly $10, so like in the range of
right.
$10.
So yeah. So then the question is $10, like that's how much it costs to buy it, or $10 that's how much it costs the company to make it. And the reason I ask that is like if the company raises the price of a game, can you no longer summon it?
Oh, that's really
And
interesting.
then and by the way, there's so many questions, but the next one is do you know what games you can summon
Yeah.
inherently, or do you have to like can I just be like a game and it appears? I don't know what like I don't have a specific game in mind, but a game will appear, or do I have to like know like here's a game that costs $10 and then I can summon it?
Yeah. It feels to me like it's that last thing. You would need to know what game you were trying to summon, and it
Right.
would either work or not work based on
Right.
the
So that
the
makes I think that
price
makes
the
the
game
most
was
sense.
going for.
Now I don't think that's too much of a limitation because of the internet.
Right.
So like you could easily find games that cost $10.
Right.
I agree that it's got to be around $10, not exactly $10. Like in my mind, it's like the $10 and X cents, like that $1 range from 10 to 10.99.
Yeah. That's all
Um,
fair game.
Now, my biggest thing about this is clearly, like you were talking about what you would do with this power. Clearly, the best thing to do is just summon like 1,000 copies and sell them. Like become a game
Oh,
seller. Like open a game
sure,
store that only sells $10 games.
sure.
Um, I don't know. Yeah, that seems like the best thing to do with that power.
Here's the problem with that is if you can only summon $10 games, are you going to sell them for $11? Why would anyone buy from you? They could just go pay the $10.
Well, first of all, you could sell them for $5, and that's all profit since you can summon them at
Oh, it
will.
wouldn't matter. Of course. Yeah, it wouldn't matter. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you're going to get a bunch of people really mad at you because you're selling these $10 games for $5.
Yes, well, the interesting thing is, I feel like the amount of games that cost between 10 and 10.99 is such a small subset. Like, that's
Yeah.
the real issue with the power that's preventing you from making boatloads of money. Like, you're going to open a game store that has such niche, like, a niche set of games.
Yeah.
You might not even be able to open, like, a physical store. You might have to be like, here's my online $10 store, and it's easy because somebody just orders it and I have it and ship it to them or whatever.
Right.
Um,
Man, I'd
so
really like to have a producer for this podcast so I could just be like, "Hey Greg, go look up for me what games cost between 10 and 10.99
yeah,
so we can cut it in here." Cuz that I think is a pretty critical like that doesn't seem like a common price for games.
right. Well, because
Seems
of how
low.
many games there are, it seems like it's a small percentage of all games,
Yeah.
but there's probably still a good number of them.
Sure, but
That's what I would estimate.
it's probably few if any that I could name right now. Like I would have to do that research to even know
Right, but
what
surely
games
you
there
could
were.
find some. Like, that's not really the issue at hand. Like,
I
it's
could
not like I'm worried that I won't be able to come up with any games that I can summon.
Sure.
Right?
And if your point is that you would use it to make a game store, then it really doesn't matter. But I guess what I'm thinking of is would I be able to use this superpower for my own
Yeah.
benefit in
Right.
social gaming situations? Like would I care about these games that I have the power
Well,
to?
yeah, I mean, in that sense, it's just not the variety hugely matters because if there's only like 5 games
Yeah.
that cost $10, I mean, I could just buy all those games and then bring them to any social situation. Like that's not having the power doesn't actually help me that much.
I don't want to
Um,
brag, but $10 isn't that much money. I think I could swing that.
Right. So like it's really only in that scenario it's really only helpful if there's like a lot of them
Yeah.
and you get to try lots of games
Yeah.
basically.
You could do something that you wouldn't have otherwise been able to do by just purchasing the games and bringing them places.
Yes.
I mean, it still is the convenience of any game instantly without having to like manage them. But yeah,
Yes.
what
Okay,
even?
so let's go on to go ahead.
I was just about to ask what even is the other option here, but
The
you were
other
gonna tell
option
me.
is which you reacted very positively to initially.
Yeah. Oh,
The ability
yes.
to perfectly cook any piece of poultry
Yes.
just by staring at it intensely.
Yes.
Now, this seems like a very limited ability with very limited usefulness. So I'm curious your take on why that's so good.
All right. So when I think we're gonna dig into this, and we're going to lawyer away the things that I think are good about this
Sure.
because gut feel perfectly cooked includes like dressings and sauces and like perfectly prepared. But that's not what it said. It said perfectly cooked, which means that I am going to get a thoroughly heated chicken or something. Like I don't know if that would be grilled or boiled or what. It would just be cooked.
It's whatever's perfect to you. It's perfectly cooked.
Okay. So I guess it would be appealing, but it would remain just the I'm just going to use chicken as the example, right? Chicken like a perfect chicken breast.
Right.
It's like as good as it can be with that being the only ingredient included.
Right. Like it's not like you can be like this is going to become a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich if that's like a perfect
Yes.
piece of chicken to you.
Because that's where it started.
Yeah.
Is like, yeah, I could have the the breading or the sauces or the seasonings and all of this just by looking at it, and so I could just go buy bulk chicken from the grocery store, and then all of my meals would be prepared by just looking at the chicken, and I would
Yep.
get the perfect chicken that I wanted in the moment. But that's not it. I don't think. Now that we've thought
Now,
about that.
I feel like in order to make this even a contender, we have to assume something which you probably already assumed, but it's not explicitly stated,
Yeah.
which is that you cook it by staring at it and it cooks pretty much instantly. Like, it could be that it's interpreted that you have to stare at it for the same length of time that you would normally have to cook chicken.
Yeah.
It's just you don't have to use a stove or a grill or whatever, and you don't have to worry about over or under cooking it. But that would be obviously even worse. I feel like we want to assume that it instantly cooks in order for
Yeah.
this even to be a contender.
I mean, I think that's true for it to contend, but I do want to say that even if I had to stare at it for the same amount of time as it would have otherwise taken, that still does seem beneficial to me
See, I'm not
because
sure about that. And here's a couple reasons. One is if I'm trying to cook more than one piece of chicken, it's now going to be faster for me to cook them the normal way than by this
okay.
way.
Yeah.
So that's one issue.
I
And
never
the other
want
thing is
just
like
the chicken. Yeah.
right, the other thing is like now I also like when you're cooking, usually you don't want to just be cooking like usually you're doing multiple things. So now
Right.
I can only cook the chicken. I can't do anything else while I'm cooking the chicken.
I have to just stare
Like
at the chicken.
right?
Yeah.
So actually, those are the only. I don't have a third thing, but like
Yeah.
those two seem like severe negatives if I'm not instantly cooking the chicken by staring at it.
Now, at least the second half of that for me is mitigated by having Shelby around who I could ask to cook the other things by guaranteeing that I would produce a perfect cooked chicken.
That just see even to me if like let's just say this is a scenario where I only wanted to make one piece of chicken.
Yeah.
That was all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like when I cook, I usually put like a show on or something like that in the background. Like the tax of having to stare at the chicken for 20 to 30 minutes or whatever it takes to cook
Yeah.
is like a significant thing that I might still just rather cook it normally and be able to watch my show
Yeah.
while I'm cooking it.
Yeah, I may be putting too much weight on the fact that I wouldn't have to move my arms at all, but because that's, to be honest, my least favorite part of chicken preparation is how much you have to touch the chicken and move the chicken. I feel like this came up actually in a recent episode about cooking chicken.
What?
And I feel like this realization that I had happened the last time too.
I have no memory either of the original time talking about cooking chicken or the previous time when you
Yeah.
realized this.
I hope either that David listens to this and is like, oh yes, I remember the chicken time and the prior chicken time, or this is just entirely in my head and I've hallucinated not one but two chicken incidents of this.
Please send us an email and let us know if Nathan is really thinking of something that happened or just hallucinating multiple chicken related events.
Am I losing my mind? All right.
Okay, but regardless, let's say it's instant.
Yeah.
If it's instant, can it still compete with? I mean, yeah. By instant, I mean like a few seconds. Obviously, if you're in order to be staring at it, it can't just
Yeah.
be like instant. But like a few seconds, you can cook the chicken in a few seconds.
Yeah.
Can it even then? Can it compare with the board game? What's your thought on that?
So, pro in favor of this in this along the same lines as you said for board games is I could open up a chicken restaurant and I could be a very efficient chicken cook.
You could, but I will say you still have to like prepare the chicken as you pointed out.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree. So like I'm not the sole proprietor and operator of this restaurant, right? Like let's imagine I franchise a Chick-fil-A, for example, and rather than cooking chickens, I just look at them for a few seconds and then the rest of the staff does their thing.
that's a nice idea, but you can't franchise a Chick-fil-A. You don't have enough money to, right?
I Yeah, probably. I don't know what it takes. The other thing I'm thinking about is that that's only beneficial if you can scale your chicken production along with like a large customer base.
Right.
And
Well, to
presumably
me,
the current design of a Chick-fil-A is such that it can meet the demands of the number of customers it would typically
yeah.
encounter.
I
So,
mean, it's good that you said like Chick-fil-A
yeah.
because my next complaint was going to be like the biggest problem with um the biggest thing about the board games is a board game is a board game, right? If I have
Yeah.
a copy of the board game, it's the same as every other copy. Whereas because the chicken requires preparation,
Yeah.
people might just not like your chicken, even though it's cooked perfectly.
Right.
Like you might
Right.
fail in that business venture just because you're not as good at preparing it. But you did mention the Chick-fil-A part, which means it's kind of a stock in how it's prepared, so that part doesn't really come into play.
Yeah.
Um,
You know what's interesting that I've just realized is that you do possess both of these superpowers if you have about $10. You know, you can get a $10 board game, or you can basically instantly get someone to give you a pretty perfectly cooked chicken.
that's sort of true. That's an interesting observation.
I
All
just
right.
thought that was neat.
I think that's a neat observation. I still think board game is best. I know you've kind of put forth some arguments in favor of the chicken. What's your final decision?
Yeah, I really tried on the chicken, and after realizing that my initial assumptions about the chicken, which led me to be so excited in the first place, are just, I don't think I can really defend them, then I've just got to go
Right.
board games too.
Okay, so then let's just say theoretically,
Yeah.
without going into too much detail because this would take a ton of lawyering, but theoretically you could make any normal chicken dish just by
Yeah.
staring at it. Would that change your answer?
How far, like, how many ingredients do you think it is
Don't.
fair
That's
to
what I'm saying. We
add?
can't get into it too far. Just any normal, any reasonable normal chicken dish.
Any reasonable normal chicken dish? I think I would probably take that. Even if it's just limited to like this is a nice seasoned or breaded chicken.
Hmm.
Just by staring at it, that'd be awesome, yeah. If I could make a meal worthy chicken because there are
Hmm.
plenty of meals that I eat today that are basically like chicken slightly prepared plus some
Hmm.
other ingredients, and I can still manage those other ingredients myself if I want to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm taking the board game either way, so it's interesting that
Wow.
that changes
Okay.
your answer. All right. We're at an hour 12 here. You want to call it? You want to do one more? What's your feeling?
Do you have any more in your list that are really compelling? Because I'm not seeing a ton on my side.
I have others that I wouldn't be bad to talk about, but none that are like, oh, we have to talk about this one.
Okay. Well, I feel like it's a bit of a bummer to say, should we do another or should we just end it and then waffle for a bit and then end it? So why don't you hit us with one that's just interesting and we'll get there and that'll be the end.
Um, okay, and maybe this will be a quick one
Yeah.
because because I think it's an easy choice.
Okay.
But it might be interesting to discuss a little bit. Would you rather have the ability to speak to animals, but they only want to talk about local zoning laws, or be able to speak all human languages, but only while whispering?
Okay. Well, the first one is not really that useful. It'd be interesting. Well, would it be interesting? I guess it'd be interesting in that you were talking to animals, but it wouldn't be interesting in really
Well,
any other way.
so I mean, normally when you say talk to animals, there's kind of two different interpretations. One is that animals now have like human level intelligence
Yeah.
and can talk to you, and the other is that you can understand them, but they just are still animals, so it's like not that meaningful of a conversation. In this one, I feel like it has to be the first one because
Yeah.
animals by themselves wouldn't be able to talk about zoning laws. So like you are talking to animals that have human level intelligence about zoning laws. Um, so it's cool that you're talking to animals, really. Yeah, I can't see much. I mean, this is why I said it's an easy. I can't see much upside to that.
Yeah.
Now, speak all human languages, but only while whispering. There's some assumptions you make when you read that, but they're not necessarily all stated. So, for example, can you understand all human languages? Like, the assumption is yes. And if so, do you have to be whispering to understand the languages? Because, like,
Yeah.
that's kind of part of the speaking.
Yeah.
But, like if you could just remove the speaking, if you could understand all human languages, that's like obviously real, like way better than the animal one, than any version of the animal one, even if you're can't not only talking about
Yep.
zoning laws. So let's try to make this as bad as we can while still actually conforming to what it says in the question. So you must be whispering. You can't understand any other languages. You can just speak them.
Yeah.
You can speak them only while whispering. Is that still better than the animal one? And the answer is yes, right?
I'm pretty sure
Yeah, okay.
that's as bad as you could possibly make it. That's going to be better than being able to talk to animals about zoning. So,
Yeah.
cool.
All right. Well, there you go. There's your bonus one. I didn't want to pick one that we would spend too long talking about because like go to bed.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Let us know what your thoughts on any of the would you rather's we talked about were. Send us an email and give us. I feel like I don't know if have we ever had an email where somebody like gave their weighed in on the would you rather's.
Not that I can remember, but I don't know that that counts for much.
Yeah, good point. Well, you can be the first ever listener that we remember that emails about the would you rather's if you want to weigh in. So send us an email.
Absolutely.
And let us know whether you would rather have to wear a fully authentic suit of medieval armor to casual dinners, or always have to wear a bright neon holiday sweater to formal events. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm Alex.
I'm Alex.
And this has been
Joel.
Joel.